Okay, so my screen is visible to all.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay,
Visible, sir.
okay, thank you. So I think yesterday we completed the hardware part for the door, and as I told you today, we can add some more design inside that door, maybe some bevel objects or maybe some glass object on the door. And plus we'll try to also create the third part of the door, that is the swing action, on which side the door should actually swing basically. Sorry. Right now I just want to show the swing action of the door first, and then we'll add the detailings design for the door maybe. So for the swing action, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to the floor plan, and it's currently going to swing on this direction towards the interior side, as because we have placed the handle on the right side of the interior view. Okay, so I have to show the swinging action parameter or the swing action lines for the door. Okay, so let's do that. So for creating swing actions, I'm going to come to the annotate toolbar or the annotate tab, and in that you'll find the symbolic line option. So once you take the symbolic line action, we can create a rectangular shape starting from that end point, not from this end point, but from the end point where the shim space is there, all the way till that end point over here, not till here, right? And don't lock the lines. Will not lock the line this time. That's because I'm gonna show it as an open degree. Okay, so I'm gonna now just keep the cursor on the first line and press tab key. तो टैब की प्रेस करेंगे तो पूरा साइकिल ऑफ लाइन सिलेक्ट होगा. सो यू कैन सी जस्ट कीपिंग द कर्सर, और टैब की मैंने प्रेस किया तो दिख रहा है पूरा चेन ऑफ लाइन लिखा हुआ आ रहा है, चेन ऑफ वॉल्स और लाइंस इट्स कमिंग. एंड नाउ आई सिलेक्ट and then I'll rotate that specific chain of line from a certain place basically. So the rotator point would be this point, and I'll give like the angle like 90 degree. So that's that 2D door line. Use this reference plane so that you can clearly understand them. Okay, so that's the door action. Okay, means the solid thickness of the door. We'll provide some parameters. dimension, align dimension from the outer end to the inner end. Okay, means ये side से ये side का करेंगे, not from ear to ear, because if I change the thickness should go inside, not on the outer ends basically. Yeah, so from outer end to inner end, this is what it is, and we already have a parameter called as door thickness, so we provide the same thing, door thickness, so that if I make change in the 3D model, the door thickness, even the 2D thickness should change. Okay. Now I'll also create another dimension line starting from this symbol line to here. Okay, this is currently coming as 948 mm. So that's the door length, actual door length. Okay, so I'm going to create a parameter for this. And I'm going to label this parameter as 2D door length. So I'm going to label as 2D door length. Now what happens to my 2D door length, that it would be a formula parameter. What will be the formula parameter? That whatever is my door length minus the notch, basically that. Okay, minus the notch, and then minus the shim space, and minus the shim space, basically that. So the formula for the 2D door length would be the width, whatever is my width, copy into the 2D door length, paste it, copy the width of the door, paste it over there. Then I'll copy the jam notch length, copy that, minus it twice, minus one side, minus second side, and I'll also copy the shim space, copy and minus it two times, one side and two side. Okay, now if I hit enter, this value should come as 948 by default, and you can see it does come 948. That's correctly, it will change, right? No, I will minus it. I want to reduce the size of that. Yeah. Okay, there we go. I can leave this space from here to this edge line, call this as shim space, or you can just simply lock that 1 mm of it. Okay, so that it just, in case if I stretch that, it doesn't goes inside, still leaves 1 mm of space basically there. Okay, or you can label that as shim space. ये पॉइंट से रोटेट किया हुआ है, that's the hinge point. Okay, then I want to show the arc as well, so I'll come to again to annotate symbolic line, create an arc. Start from this point, to end. Okay, you can lock it so it doesn't move. Lock it to the plane as well. Tap plane and the point. Lock. Okay, it says unconstrained, it means it was already locked. Okay, so it was perfectly locked on the line. So that's your um, line of swing basically with it. We can change this line. Actually, we wanted maybe hidden lines or invisible lines. You can tell it to be as invisible line, or you can tell it as to be as the it's called
line pattern यहाँ से change
plan swing cut, something like that. So line pattern you can change it from here. So I just want to show like dash dotted something. Select the line and you'll get the subcategory of line type. Right. Okay, now if I'm looking in from a plan view, मुझे डबल दिखाई देगा, मीन्स मुझे सॉलिड डोर भी दिखाई देगा और ये 2D एक्शंस भी दिखाई देगा, प्लस ये हार्डवेयर भी दिखाई देगी. बट व्हेन वी आर लुकिंग फ्रॉम अ प्लान व्यू वी डोंट सी दिस हार्डवेयर और दिस सॉलिड डोर बेसिकली. तो ये एलिमेंट्स को मुझे हिडन रखना पड़ेगा जब भी हम लोग प्लान व्यू में रहे तो बेसिकली. सो आई एम गोना सेलेक्ट द हार्डवेयर फर्स्ट. The hardwares have been selected. Even I can select the solid part of the door as well. Maybe later on I'll select first the hardware. Over here visibility settings is there. Click on that. Visibility settings. And in the visibility settings, we'll switch off this option, plan RPC. Okay, or RCP. Okay, so reflected cut plan नहीं दिखना चाहिए. That hardwares will be not be visible in the reflected cut plans. Okay, but in the front elevation view, back elevation view, left view, right view, section view may it will be visible. If you uncheck this, what will happen? Even in the elevation, it won't show you then. So I don't want that to happen. So I'll say okay, leave it for the front and back, and leave it for the left and right. Only in the plan cut, we don't want to. Right, and then I can click on OK. So that two hardware elements won't be visible. Come to the 3D view. I select the door panel and the visibility settings for that as well. I can tell you that I don't want to view that in the plan RCP. So that solid part of the door and the hardware will not be visible in the plan view. So only in the plan view what will be visible would be the door jams and the 2D swing action would be visible basically. Right. So in this project yesterday I applied it at door, but as you can see, this was just the door without any swing action thing. Okay, so this was the swing action in the AutoCAD. There was no swing action in the door actually. Okay, so if I hide the AutoCAD file, coming in visibility graphics, imported category, hide it, I don't see a swing action in the door at all. Okay, so we can now load that file to the project, override its version and its parameters. Well, we can see now the door with the swinging action. Okay. You can then flip the direction in or out. Okay, but when you look into the 3D view, I just need to come into section 3D view. You'll see that hardware and the solid door is visible. It's there. And it's parametric, so we can still select them and we can totally customize whatever we want. Okay, now if we want to create some bevel shapes on the door, maybe I have some sort of design shapes basically then. So we can come back to the family editor of the door. Let's suppose if I give it on the exterior side of the door. Sorry. So that's the door shutter. Okay, and we want to create some bevel objects on the door. So how do we do that? Right. So what I'm going to do is I might only select this shutter and I'll isolate that element. So what happens, the rest of the elements like the wall, the door frames, the door locks and the handle will disappear. Okay, maybe I'll select the door handle and the shutter. यहाँ पे goggle का icon है basically this one. It says temporary hide and isolate, and that you can select isolate element. So here we go. Now we only have that hardware and the door shutter, the door frame, and the wall is not visible. Okay, so that's better. In the left elevation view, will come in left view. That's better way. This is the exterior side. This is the interior side. I'll take a create form and I'll take a form of solid blend basically there. Or even I can take solid blend or I can take swept blend also. Swept blend would be much better to use. So I'll use swept blend first. Then I'll show you about the solid blend also. So if I take swept blend, I'll first sketch a path basically. Okay. So I can sketch a path from this point to almost like 10 mm maybe. 10 mm. You can lock that line. Okay. You can even provide dimension to the path. Label this as bevel depth. So that's your bevel depth of 10 mm. Now once the path is ready, you can click on the finish mode. And we have two profiles that we need to create. Okay, so we can come into profile 1 and profile 2. Okay, so I can like come into the external part, take profile 1, edit profile, and I can like create that shape of profile, right over here. So roughly I'm just picking a shape of profile, maybe a rectangle profile, right, till here, right? Okay, this can be like 200 and 80 to 20, that's 300. And this I can take it off like 9. Okay, you can provide dimension to your profiles as well. This can be given dimensions. This edge can be given as dimensions. You can even give this edge as a dimension. You can call this as bevel offsets. And these are bevel offsets. So 155 mm offset from here, 155 mm offsets of here, and that's 300 by 950. That's one bevel, and again I can click on the finish mode. Okay, so that's one profile. Then I'll take profile number 2, click on edit profile, and I'll create another rectangle. Maybe I'll give another offset of 15 mm. Starting from your there. So quickly and roughly I just use that. So a little smaller one. You can even give dimension distances to this as well. Click on the finish mode. So 2 profiles have been sketched. So that's profile 1, that's profile 2. Okay. Then we can click on the finish mode. So here we go. You get a bevel on the face of the door. Like papers. I can apply the similar material, the same material that is assigned to the door shutter actually. Yes, left view में आके create करना. So from this side to there. So it will start from that end. So this is 10 mm of depth basically, which you can control also. So yeah, external side पे किया. Internal पे create करना है तो internal पे आना पड़ेगा आपको. So bevel depth that is 10 mm. Maybe I want it of like just 5 mm. 5 mm. And this just makes of 5 mm now. So that's year to year. It's just yeah, change हो गया. So if you have given parameter, you have control of each and everything. If you don't have parameters, you don't have control basically. So you can create multiple shapes and designs, maybe curve, arches. I've just normally created a rectangle type basically then. So that's why now the second part is like if I wanted to insert a glass instead of bevel. The glass would be there, so that means there would be like it should be hollow first basically, and then there should be a piece of glass that would be translucented basically, transparented basically, which can be visible basically. So I'm going to delete this bevel part actually, or maybe I'll create a glass somewhere right over here maybe. Okay, so what I need to do, if you want to create a glass, first I need to create a hollow section, a void in the shutter, a glass, because I need to cut the shutter, right, so that I can place the glass. Okay. So let's do that. So I'll come into any one of the elevation view, maybe interior or exterior, doesn't matter. Let's say if I take the exterior view only. So I want to create a void system on this door. Okay, so if you want to create a void, so I'll take the create tab, take the form. I'll take the form of void extrusion. So it will like create a cut in solid elements basically.
Void forms.
So I'll take void extrusion and I'll set the plane for plane on this face of the door. Okay, and then I'll create a rectangular shape of cut like that. Okay, and whatever is the thickness of the door, I can provide the same white cut thickness. That was like 35 mm. Default 35 mm. Okay. Yeah. 35 mm ले लेके और finish कर सकते हैं. So there we go. Now you see there is a the door, a void in the door actually. दिखना चालू हो गया. You can select that void form and यहाँ पे 35 mm दिया हुआ है, तो उसको भी हम लोग एसोसिएट कर सकते हैं. कभी अगर डोर का थिकनेस बढ़ गया तो वाइड का थिकनेस नहीं बढ़ेगा, तो हम लोग वी कैन गिव डोर थिकनेस एंड एसोसिएट पैरामीटर टू दैट. वाइड हो गया पार्ट, डोर में एक कटआउट जनरेट हो चुका है. Now we might have to add the glass in that specific region. Okay, so glass add कर लेंगे. Glass add करने से पहले भी I'll come to the plan view. You can see there's a, I can see a cut in the door actually. So I want the glass right in the middle of this door shutter actually. So I'll create some reference planes. That's the midpoint actually, center of that door shutter actually, and then I'll create another reference planes. That equal parameter. I can give this a parameter as glass thickness. Right. There we go, we got that part. Now what do we want? We wanted to create a glass region on that specific part. So you can either create in the plan view or either you can create in the exterior view. So I'll create another extrusion. and we'll create a rectangular shape starting from that endpoint to this endpoint of the void cut. Okay, and I'll also lock these lines so that if the void cut grows or expands, even the glass will automatically expand. Okay, so lock all that lines. Simple extrusion. Finish the mode. But what happens when I look into plan view, like this is going out, so you have to drag this to this plane, lock it, drag this to this plane, and you lock that. And you can select that glass element, subcategorize it into category of glass, and you can apply the material of glass as well. Okay, you can give associate parameter to that as well. And finish it. So the glass thickness is 13 mm. It's quite odd size, so we'll make that glass thickness. Make that of 12 mm. Apply, and okay, so you see that it changes. It does appears over here. And if I look in my 3D view, there's a glass actually. But this glass needs a putty, mold putty, so that it doesn't fall off. So we can create that as well. So I'm going to create on the exterior side as well as on the interior side as well. So I can either use sweep command, or either I can use the extrusion command, whichever command you want to use. Right. I'll go with extrusion command over here. So I'll come on the exterior side. So if I use extrusion command, I have to use on the exterior side as well as on the interior side, both sides. So I'll come on the exterior to create another extrusion and another rectangular shape right from here to here. Make sure that you lock these lines. Another rectangle, but with an offset. Maybe I'll give 5 mm offset. Internal side. Okay. You can give dimension distance to this as well. So you can give from the outer sketch to internal sketch, outer to internal, outer to internal, outer to internal. You can select all of these. Create a parameter. I can call this as molding thickness or molding length or width, whatever you want to call it. Width, I'll call this as width instead of calling as thickness. It's width moldings. Click on the finish mode to complete. Now if I look at it from the plan view, it is quietly exceeding out, so I'll just drag this till here, lock it, and I'll drag it all the way till here. Okay. I can give a dimension from this plane to this sketch here, and I can even give that the same parameter, molding width, or maybe I can give molding thickness करके एक parameter भी create कर सकते हैं, separate parameter for that. So the same one. So that's done for one side, for the exterior side, but not for the other side basically. So again, similar activity we need to do it over here as well. So again, I'll take create extrusion rectangle shape right from here to here, block these lines and the rectangle with an offset 5 mm. Offset inside करने के लिए space bar. Okay, you can give parameters from outer sketch to internal sketch here. And then select all these 5 mm dimensions and label it under the molding width. Okay, click on the finish mode. Again, if you look at from the plan view, this time it's like here we can like drag this all the way till the plane, lock it. Again, we can provide dimensions from the plane to that sketch line and put it under the building widths only. As of right now, if you look into your 3D view, here we go. I have that molding that's holding my glass. Yeah, we can provide a similar material or a different material that molds metal or maybe wooden also would be fine. Similar material of the door shutter only. You can even give a parameter for that. Molding material. This looks nice and detail door. Again, I'll just select this moldings, this molding and this even the glass actually. And even this beveled object. And we'll come to, okay, it's not coming all of together. So one at a time. Maybe I'll select the glass first. Visibility settings, not in the plan view. This bevel visibility set is not in a plan view. This moldings should not be visible. Visibility settings not appear in the plan view. Okay. So in the plan view only this part, this thing should only appear basically. Again, if I load this into my project, and we have that bevel door. Okay, like parameter is not locked from here for that bevel actually, so it's like moving here and there. Even if I would have locked it, it would have not moved. Edit family जाके इसको parameter को सिर्फ lock करना है. I forgot not to lock up that parameter. It's okay, as you can see the glass is there. It's holding the glass. So you can create any form of cut, void cut. I've just created a simple rectangular cut, but you can create an arc cut or like a spline cut, a circular cut. Okay, whatever form of cut you want, you can create it, and then you can insert your parts basically there. Okay. So now if I look this from the plan view, okay, I'm able to see that door shutter actually and everything. So maybe I have to re-edit in 3D view. This part, visibility settings, not should be visible. This is also on when cut RTC. बंद करो इसको भी. Okay, so it won't be visible. load. Got that does not need. Perfect. So we have our door ready with us. And if I select this, come to the edit type, I have whole parameters, bunch of parameters, and I can control whatever I want to do. Okay. So parametric solid door is done. Okay. Monday we'll do with parametric window, sliding window. They have provided sliding window, but it's not parametric. So if you see load in window, okay, and take load families and go to the English part, US window. You'll find a sliding window casement fix. You have sliding for window, which is written. If I insert that window, it's something like that. So like one slide this side, one slide on the side. I want it all stacked on one side basically. Two-way slide basically. So maybe I want only one-way slide basically. So not the one that I elected. Yeah. So now if I look at it from external view, it's not even like the way it should look like mine. Like that it is. So it has a glass, but it has been divided into 4 sections. I don't know why they have done that. Yeah. I want a full panel glass, like it's divided into 4 parts. And even they have not add moldings also. If the glass is divided, there should be a molding. It's like looks impractical. How does the glass hold in basically? So it's not very correct from the Revit side. Okay. But as for display wise, it's okay. If you just wanted to show that there is a sliding window, but it's not really detailed basically. So I won't use this type of window in my projects. So I'll show you how to create a sliding window and a corner window. Now, have you ever seen a corner window? Corner window. Anybody knows about corner window? I'll give you a hints about what is corner window. That's corner window. No, it won't be slided. It is fixed, or maybe it can be awing on one side basically, or maybe it can be casement on one side basically. Can't be slided. Nowadays we can create a slide which is rotatable basically. So like you can use that rotations basically. Yeah, there are this channel like this पे like हो जाता है, rotate भी हो जाता है basically. So nowadays we get that hinges that is flexible. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to show you about how do we create corner window as well in Revit, because there's no corner window family given um, for any project. So if you have anything that you want to show something like this, you should know how to create it. Somewhere like that. A wing window. Curtain panel window. A wing window it is basically. Okay. You can even create in this as well. A wing here. Right, so that's the end of the door family, solid door family. Monday we start with the window family. How do we create the window family in Revit? Okay, maybe you want 2 panels sliding or 3 panels sliding or 4 panels sliding, depends on how many panel of slides you want. Okay, and that too, that will be also parametric, so we'll have total control of each and everything, the channels, the panels, the glass, the slides, everything would be controllable. Okay, So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Most welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Most welcome, Sandeep.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Isha.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Isha and Purva. Sorry, double के लिए.
आसिफ सर,
Yes, Noor.
यहाँ पे डोर आएगा सर. क्या हम इसमें कर्व में भी विंडो क्रिएट कर पाएंगे? यहाँ पे भी डोर
कर्व विंडो के लिए थोड़ा अलग फैमिली है वैसे.
एज हाफ राउंड रहना चाहिए.
Half round. I need to check.
Because I try many times.
If you
ग्रास
have some
फिक्स कर
reference
देता हूँ,
image, you
लेकिन
can
उसमें
share it.
ओपनिंग विंडो क्रिएट नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ.
Okay, share the reference image. I'll see if there's a family parameter or a family template given. We can make it. Okay.
Sir,
Yes, sir. Hello, Ali.
yes, for
Yeah.
creating grid formation means I want to create grid in angle.
Grid in angle in curtain mullions
Yes.
or curtain panels.
Curtain.
When you suppose an example, if I take a wall, curtain wall glazings. Generally, that mullions are straighter. Okay, so you can select that panel, and when you come in properties, you have angle options given over here. Okay, angle like that. For horizontal, and 30 degrees for another that goes in angle.
But this is taking all the grid.
Sorry. For one, you can't. Otherwise, you need to create a family that is called as curtain panel, basically the family. So, you come in families, there's an option called as adaptive massing or conceptual massing. In that, you need to create it, or you need to create a curtain wall pattern base and create that whatever pattern of curtain you want or the curtain wall you want. This part would be there in your massing chapter. Okay, thank you.